Hey everyone, thanks for watching. I'm very excited by this show. We have a kind of newbie real estate investor coming on. He's excited about real estate investing. He took the plunge into my course. He completed it quickly. And the reason I invited him on this course is because he took action. He sent a note out about some properties he saw, some agents he tried to work with, and I'm like, this is what people need to hear. A lot of newbies get stuck in analysis paralysis. And as you will hear, Michael Robles took action. And it was a lot of fun for me to see and hear because that's what we're trying to do here. So, Michael, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me. Thank you for having me, Michael. I appreciate it.
Oh, man, it was awesome to read that. But before we jump into the full story, why don't you tell them who you are, what you do, where you're at, and we'll go from there.
Well, I am in Fresno, your ideal market.
There you go.
Um, I've lived in Fresno my entire life, and I do voiceover. I work from home. That's where we're in right now. I'm in a voiceover booth. I've been doing this for 15 years or so, and voiceover is just an actor who does voices for cartoons, commercials, video games, stuff like that. And so I told myself I would purchase real estate by the time I was 40 years old. And I turned 39 this year. And when I woke up first thing in the morning on my birthday, I thought, I have to do this. I have to take action prior to my 40th birthday. And so I saw you on Clayton Morris's video,
Okay.
Natalie and Clayton.
Yeah.
I'd been watching them for a couple of years, and then I saw you on there. And when you said Fresno, a light bulb just went off in my head, and I thought, wow, this is perfect, the perfect template for exactly what I'd like to do. And it almost seemed too good to be true.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
yeah, so I just started watching some of your videos, and yeah, I don't want to get ahead of myself.
Yeah. That's good. So again, right? You're active, you're kind of, I don't know, in YouTube university, if you will.
Hmm.
You set a personal goal of 40, you turn 39, the pressure kind of
Yeah,
intensifies, right?
yeah, absolutely.
Then you see somebody that's been in your market for, let's call it 2 decades, and you're like, let me check this guy
Mm.
out.
Hmm.
And what did you see, right? You probably started listening to hours of my stuff because I do try to put out something every day. What did you see in your initial research?
I saw some of the neighborhoods that I grew up in. Um, as a matter of fact, you have a few homes in an area where, I have a lot of friends, and I think that was very familiar. I also saw interviews, and um, I think most importantly is just that you set the foundation in Fresno, and I think that was a huge confidence boost because I think with Clayton Morris, probably about 8 months ago or a year ago, he said something about turnkey properties, and I called and I filled out their submittal form, but something just told me, you don't know this market. Like, relax and slow down.
Yeah.
You don't know anything about this. What are you doing? And I've read very often in books and financial literacy books that say if you don't understand the deal, then don't get into it, or don't
Hmm.
don't get into stuff that you don't understand.
Yeah.
But I do understand Fresno. I live here, and so I think that's the one thing that really boosted my confidence.
Yeah. I'm glad you did that. Anytime you feel uncomfortable, you got to scratch that a little bit and try to go,
Yeah.
what is it, right? Just because you can go out of state or whatever, because it's cheaper. That's not always better. And I've talked about that a bunch.
Hmm.
And if you can invest in your backyard, right, that is awesome. So I
Right.
think Fresno holds a lot of opportunities for you. So, all right. So you check me out, you get a little more comfortable. It's kind of your neck of the woods. You see this stuff befores, afters, walkthroughs, kind of feels interesting.
Hmm.
When did you, I don't market my course all that often. When did you hear about the course, or did you see it in a description? When did that click? Like, oh my God, he has a course. Or did you go to the book first? Did you read my book first? How'd that
uh,
go?
yeah, I purchased the book that night.
Oh, you
Uh,
did. Okay.
yeah. I purchased the book on Amazon, and I read it off of my Kindle.
Okay.
And so I don't have a hard copy book, but I have my Kindle, or I read my books off my Kindle. And so I purchased the book that night, and I started it. And then over the next few days, I just started like mulling over some of the things that you were saying. I started consuming a lot of your content. And then I I was really hesitant on a Sunday morning to just reach out to you and say, please hold my hand. I am afraid. I am a person that takes action. I'm very proactive in the things that I do. And yet this is something that I just don't understand, and I don't want to make a huge mistake. So I thought it would be great if I could just reach out to Michael and tell him to hold my hand through a process, and I'll pay him whatever he needs or whatever he feels is necessary. And so I started watching your videos on a Sunday morning for information. And I think it was an interview that you had with somebody from the Midwest, maybe from Chicago. It was a younger guy, maybe later 20s.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
I don't remember his name, but he said that I remember he kept saying, I just followed your advice. I followed your template.
Oh, yeah.
You know who I'm talking about?
Yeah, I do. The name will come to me. But go ahead.
Yeah. And so he said that he followed your course, and I thought, he has a course. And just keep in mind that I was kind of picking through your videos, like going through. I didn't really I wasn't going through in line, but in succession, but I just kept picking through videos, and then that one popped up, and so I purchased the course, started going through it. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Yeah. One of the things that's, I don't know, I always have to be true to myself, and that is I don't market my course all that much, right? It's there. People always ask, how'd you do it? I'm like, well, here you go. I spent a couple of months putting this together. This is exactly how I did it, all those years ago in a market I'd never been to. So, so you get the course, right? You spend the, less than $200, and, what'd you do? Did you jump in right away? Did you let it sit on the shelf? What happened?
No, I jumped in right away. I started it's been 3 weeks now, but I started the first couple of videos. And one of the things that you said right at the top was, you can do this in a weekend. And so for me, I kind of felt like you were kind of
putting
saying,
the
if you're
gauntlet down.
serious, yeah, exactly. Putting the gauntlet down. For me, it felt like you were talking to me, and you were saying, get through it in a weekend if you're being serious about this. If not, stop playing around. And that kind of stuck out to me, and it put a little bit of pressure on me. So I started, I believe in the first day I did maybe like 4 or 5 videos. They were the first videos. I think you were like in an alleyway or something outside.
Yeah.
And then I put it away. I wanted to digest it and then metabolize the information. And so I gave myself 24 hours to just metabolize what you were saying.
Yeah.
And then I came back to it, watched a bunch more videos, went away from it for a full day. Because it's a lot of information.
Yeah.
And it's overwhelming. It comes so quickly, but yet it just makes so much sense.
Yeah.
And so, and I believe I finished it within a week.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So first off, that little plug for a weekend, a long weekend, it's there just so people take action. My greatest frustration is when somebody, spends the $200 and then they let it sit for a month. I'm like, that does nothing for either of us. No, it's, I don't need that. I don't need the money. I'm just trying to cover cost of security and friggin' video bandwidth and all that stuff.
Right.
And if you let it sit there for 30 days, don't do it. Right. That's right. I don't want that for you or for anyone.
Or do it when you're ready. Right.
Yeah, exactly. Do it when you're ready.
Absolutely ready.
Exactly. And then the other thing I hope you saw in the course is I don't fill it with a lot of fluff, at least in the beginning, right? I've done courses in the past where the first, 2 hours are just all this, what's your why and all this other, non-tactical, non-execution based. So I'm curious how it felt, right? I step 1, step 2, right, are all kind of in your face, get ready to work. Did that come across?
Absolutely. I think the spreadsheet is awesome because it gives you a very structured way to work, and plus numbers don't lie. So once you see the numbers and you begin to see, okay, is it really this easy? Just plug in a formula, plug in insurance, plug in, you know what I mean? And so the more I began to see this, and then I really enjoyed the Excel process. I have 5 different ones. I have 93728, 93702, 93703. So I just started filling them out, and I really enjoyed the process of filling it out. Initially, you know what? I was filling them out, but the prices were too high. I was going like 250 and above, but then the farther I got into your course, I realized that that wasn't the way to go. It was actually going for the cheaper stuff. And I think somewhere you said, a bigger house doesn't mean more rent.
Exactly. Yeah.
And
But look at that. You learned something right away just by doing the spreadsheet, right? The math doesn't lie.
I would say that the spreadsheet is gold.
Yeah.
It's a very simple. I play a lot of golf, and I've
Okay.
invited you a few times.
Yes.
Uh,
We'll do that.
what I do is with golf is I set down the iron, my rod, and then I just line up my rod whenever I'm swinging along that rod, and that'll tell me if that rod is pointed at the flag and it's straight. I know that that is true. So once I start swinging my club, my iron along that rod, I know that I'm going to hit a straight shot. That's basically what I saw out of the spreadsheet was that do that, follow the structure, and you're going to hit the target.
Yeah.
And I think that was really important. And plus it boosted my confidence a ton.
And I love the fact that you've already done 5 zip codes, because my biggest goal for this is I believe buy and hold rental properties, as I kind of teach and talk about, is a skill. And because it's a skill, it can be learned, right? And the importance of it being learned is, you could pick a zip code, maybe your hometown's Beverly Hills. I don't know. You could do this in Beverly Hills. The numbers won't be great, but you could learn the skill and then take it somewhere else. So that was really important to me. And it seems like that has hit home, because 93728 is very different than 702, than 03, and on and on and on, right? So I like that. So how often do you find yourself looking at the realtor.com or Redfin or whatever your source is?
Every day. I've been doing it for, I would say, 3 years.
Okay.
I wasn't willing to pull the trigger for a long time. I didn't have the confidence. And also, I think here's another thing that's really important, Michael, in my opinion, is that I know that real estate is the right way. We know a lot of people do, and that's the way to build financial success. For a long time, I was building my own business, and I didn't feel that I was super strong in my own business to be able to venture into other areas. I believe you said something about it's better to go a short distance in just one direction than go 1 inch in 50. Is that right?
Yep, exactly. Yeah.
And so that's what I wanted to avoid. I wanted to avoid going into something that I didn't understand when I wasn't, when I was still not great at what I did. And so that's why it took me such a long time. Another thing is I follow Dave Ramsey, and he talks about don't take on debt, don't take on debt, don't take on debt. In some areas you want to take on debt, but for a long time I had been saving. I became crap, as you say.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cash rich, asset poor. Yes.
Exactly. I became that because I was saving up to pay the majority of a home and just get rid of it, not have to deal with it, because I followed Dave Ramsey.
Right. That makes sense.
And so for a long time, I kept investing into myself. So I would go to school, acting classes and equipment and blah, blah, blah. And so I wasn't ready in the pit of my stomach. But then as my age got up to 40, I realized it's time. I need to do something now. I'm comfortable with what I do in my business. And so going back to your question is how often do you look? I've been looking for 3 years, 2 years, at least 3 years easily. But within the last year, I've really been attacking it. And I still didn't know what I was looking at until I saw your spreadsheet. And I was like, yes, this is it. This is exactly what I needed.
Oh, that's awesome. Because I was just going to ask, what's different now? Right. Because you've been doing it every day, which is awesome. But now it's different. It's the spreadsheet. Because now you understand, you're starting to see what an average, good, and great deal is, I'm guessing, right?
Yeah, which I don't entirely understand yet.
Okay.
I don't entirely, even last night, I was having a conversation with my buddy who's also in real estate, Matt, and we were like we had 2 spreadsheets going. I had one on one screen that was my spreadsheet, and then I had your original. I call it MZ's original.
Awesome.
And I was like, why is it that I'm getting different numbers? And I realized that you had it at 6%. Because it's my first time, I can go with the conventional, and I could put 4%.
You have an advantage for sure.
Right. I have a slight, and I kept looking at your numbers, and I was like, why doesn't this make sense? Why is it that mine are coming out better? I mean, there's no way that Michael, you say a lot often is don't let the ego get the best of you or something like that.
Yeah.
And so I was thinking, I'm not smart. Why is it that my numbers are coming out so much better? And then we just kept going through, and he was going through on his side too.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, which is kind of funny. We sat there for an hour trying to figure this out, and then I saw the percentage, and I was like, that's what it is that I'm at 4%, which
Yeah.
is where I should be because I
Yeah.
still haven't purchased a home.
Yeah.
He's at 6% because he's been doing this for so long. So that's
Yeah.
why his percentage is lower
Exactly.
than he even told me, he goes, bro, you're at 12%. If it's at 12%, Michael Zuber would have bought it. Something's
Yeah, exactly.
wrong.
It'd have been a done deal.
Yeah.
That offer would have been out.
Yeah. Yeah. So that was interesting. And then, so I switched to 4%, and yeah, I forgot the original question, but
That's okay.
It's basically just going through the Excel sheets. Yeah.
Yeah. Just so people can follow along in the spreadsheet that he's referring to, my cost to purchase, right? My debt financing is at 6% because I have more than 10, right? I have to go to a different kind of lender. I can't go and get an FHA loan or, a government loan. And Michael here, he hasn't done his first 10. So he's at 4%, in today's market, 4.3, whatever it is. So that's what he's referring to. So, okay. So this is exciting. I'm glad you got the course. What you're doing every day for 3 years is changing, evolving, but yet I'm not happy, at least, in where we are in your story just yet. But what you do next is what got me excited when I saw it online. And that is you go see property and you talk to agents. So let's, because that's different, right? I mean, now you're actually out there kicking rocks.
Yeah.
So let's talk about that.
Yeah. So, I have a cousin who has a bunch of homes, rentals, and I've been bugging him for years. And it kind of got to the point where he said, you know what, I can tell you're not being serious. And it's not that I wasn't being serious, is that I was trying to build another business at the same time. So I asked him, hey, can you put me in contact with your real estate agent? And he did. And then I called his agent. Actually, the first thing that I did, I got pre-approved.
Okay.
I just started walking in that direction.
Yep.
Excuse me. I started walking in that direction by just doing the pre-approval process.
Okay.
I reached out to somebody and I said, I would like to get pre-approved just to feel what it's like, dip my toe in the water. And so I got pre-approved. And then I got in contact with this agent, and I just asked him, can you set me up and we can go and look at some homes? And he agreed. And interesting enough, I saw some of the homes that, like on McKinsey, there's a McKinsey home that you had been looking at.
Yep.
I think it was 144K or something like that. I went and looked at it and I recorded everything. And
nice.
Yeah, so he took me around to a few homes, got me comfortable with the idea of seeing it, which I think is important.
Yeah.
Because you're being proactive, and at the same time, you're jumping barriers little by little. You're just going to jump a barrier. You learn a little bit, you digest it, metabolize it, and then, you learn again, you go to another one, and it's just jumping over little tiny barriers over and over again. That's really all it is just a succession of little barriers that you have to get over in order to finally get to the cheese, the prize. So yeah, we just saw a bunch of homes, and then I saw one that I liked a lot, although the price was really high, but I liked it for me personally to purchase it.
Okay.
Even though it's not in a great spot, but for me, for what I like, I think it would fit perfectly. And then I showed it to my cousin, and he's like, I wouldn't do that as a rental. I'll ask you about this.
Sure, go ahead.
As we move forward. But I asked him about it. He goes, I don't like it as a rental, but I do like it for me personally. The price is a little bit too high. It's like $210 or $215.
Okay.
Right, which doesn't go in line with what you suggest.
Yeah.
And so finally I found one that I liked, and I told him to submit an offer, and he did.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. And so now we're just waiting. He said they received the offer, and we're just waiting to see if they accept.
So did you offer, I'm just curious, did you offer asking price below? Did you, let's start there.
It was below. As far as I know, what I see from the contract, it was below. I will mention that I am bugging my agent. I think I've irritated him because I'm so new to it, and he's so experienced that I think he's a little bit bored with me. How do you manage that, Mike? Michael?
Well, you gotta build the relationships in the beginning, right? You know, the fact that you're making offers now, he should feel better about. Assuming, again, I'm just going to make up numbers now. Let's say that's listed at 150. Assuming the numbers were, you offered 135 and above, he should feel good about that because he could see if you're offering 67 grand on a 135, he's probably annoyed. He probably wouldn't write that offer, probably. Um,
Yeah, he wouldn't. I
yeah.
told him a couple of times and he said no.
Yeah, right. Yeah. So you just got to manage that relationship, make sure you're writing good offers. And if you do get that feeling, it doesn't hurt to go find another one. In the beginning, I think I had 5 or 6 agents. I tried to divide them by zip code so I could be fair. And also, you never know. Everybody has different opinions, working styles. You know, I yeah, I never relied on one agent, I guess is what I'm saying.
Okay.
Does that make
I'll keep
sense?
that in mind going forward. Absolutely.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So, um, we offered, I believe, like 175,
Okay.
and we're just waiting at this point
And that's
to see
okay.
what happens.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
again, when you follow what I talk about, you should feel good about your offer, and if it doesn't happen, it's okay, right? Because you're offering
Yeah.
to a certain return, and you just keep moving forward. I
Right.
I make now. I mean, if you watch my weekly goals, I try to make 5 offers a week, and it's all to match a certain number. So,
Yeah.
and I don't get. I think in the current market, I'm getting a counter like 1 out of 30, maybe 1 out of 25, and a deal 1 out of 50. So I have to offer what makes sense to me, not just I don't offer list price very often, I guess is what I'm saying.
Who do you make the offer yourself, Michael, or do you send it out to an agent and expect them to do it?
I send it, well, I send I send it to a licensed agent. I happen to have that hub there in Fresno.
Right.
So I send it to Nikki gets a lot, but also Michael Hernandez, the two licensed agents there get my offers. They're part of the building I'm in. They're people I trust. They do weekly videos with me. So I just sit on the couch usually and I text them. I go, okay, here's another one. Here's another one.
Okay.
So yeah, you got to build that relationship though, right? But yeah,
Yeah, I think that's probably what it is building the relationship with him.
yeah. Take them to lunch,
Right.
or coffee or whatever you're comfortable with. You got to show them you're serious. Writing offers really makes a difference. I know some new investors, take an agent around, every weekend for 4 weeks and they don't write an offer. Right, that's going to get pretty annoying, right?
Yeah.
To the agent. So
Yeah.
those are very cool. All right, so I'm excited for you. So
Yeah.
as you're out there, you made an offer, you're in the waiting stage. What would you tell someone who's thinking of, they're kind of in your situation and they're going, do I want to spend, $200 on an online course? What would you tell someone?
I would say it's great just for the experience, just for the information that it has within it. It's I think it's gold. I
Mhm.
really do. It's got great information. It gives you a baseline, a foundation to how to begin. And then after that, you're not able to take action because that's part of your personality, or maybe you're not ready financially. Whatever. But the thing is that it's a really nice foundation to begin somewhere, and it's
Cool.
well worth it. I think absolutely well worth it. One thing I liked in your book was that in the course, was that you repeated things over and over to the point where um, it just like stuck. It built confidence with every time that you kept saying the same thing. I thought it
Yeah,
was great
yeah.
because it was so simple, so succinct, and yet, yeah, it's very valuable. So I would say to anybody that if you're going to start or considering it, give it a shot for $200. It's well worth it.
Yeah. Well, that's what I was trying to do in the course. When I put it together, I challenged myself. One is I had to document exactly what I did and give everything away, which is the spreadsheet, how I calculate yield, how I compare apartments with houses. It's all there.
Hmm.
I wanted to be able to take someone from zero to writing offers, which it's done. I think what I do is a skill. I have no special intelligence or access or anything. So I think it's a skill that can absolutely be learned.
Hmm.
What I have is the ability to focus, right? I looked every day for 10 years,
Yeah,
which is not easy for some folks. I do get kind of tunnel vision when I have a goal. It just becomes an
I
activity.
do too.
Yeah, it's just
Right.
like boom, 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 like let's
Yeah.
go. And
Chop
then
it down.
just go, right? I don't, just keep swinging. And then the
Right.
last thing was what you just said. I want to build confidence.
But confidence is super important.
Yeah. And again, you use the spreadsheet, you build it yourself. You feel it's yours, right? You can add columns, whatever you want to do.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, the spreadsheet will tell you what's a better deal. I don't want people to just roll up and go, hey, I'm going to bet on 17 black, right, on the craps table. That's not what this is about. Go build some
Right.
confidence, kick some rocks, go see stuff.
Right.
And I am so happy to hear, Michael, that you've made an offer. Let's stay in contact, see what happens.
Yeah.
I forget, have you joined the private Facebook group yet for the students?
I
Awesome.
have. Yes, sir.
So you get to so when you can, you've got to document what you're doing out there, because other students like to see that.
Yeah, that wouldn't be a bad idea.
That'd be pretty cool. Well, anything else you want to say, Michael, before we cut this short?
I would say thank you. I appreciate it. I think it's great that you're doing this, that you're putting out this information, that you're taking the time to do it. And I just think it's gold. It's awesome.
All right,
So
Michael.
thank you.
Well, thank you very much for doing this. I know this is early on a Saturday morning. You have a great day. We will definitely get around to golf in Fresno in the next month or two.
Awesome.
All right, buddy. Take care of yourself.
All right. Thank you, Michael.
Yep. Bye.